Welcome to It's Janice, a show that supports women-owned businesses and minorities, a resource for the community. Listen in as Janice speaks with business leaders, innovation creators, entrepreneurs, and industries that support entertainment, politicians, and sports.
Hello, beautiful ladies. Welcome to Girl Talk 3. Hey. I want all of you ladies to give yourselves a hand. You're all beautiful. And today, for a change, I'm not looking raggedy. So how about that? Yay. So Girl Talk is an opportunity for women and anybody who wants to get together and just kind of hear the things that matter to us that we're talking about right now. Today is really going to be an interesting scenario because we're talking about a lot of things and, because women love to talk. So we hear, right? So some of the things that we're talking about today are You've Got the Look. Makeup by the JM Glam Squad, JM Designs. We're talking about COVID-19. We're talking to our books and our authors and page turners. We're also going to talk about fashion forward with Aluna Biazzo and Carlous Palmer. We're talking about new year, new you, new business. Celebrity sightings. Want you to share stories that you have of the celebrities that you've met and what they were like. We have some giveaways, and what you don't know is, as you ladies signed on today, we gave you numbers. And so we're going to be drawing those out, and we'll figure out a way to get those gifts to you. We're also going to do some trivia. In fact, I'd like to start out with that right now. So you can feel free to type in the chat if you have the answer. And so I just want to first start by saying, dear God, thank you for allowing me to come together today with these beautiful women. And I hope that what we're talking about and things that matter and important to us, that you hear and receive, and you're blessing us and bless this meeting and bless our time together. Thank you. Here's some trivia. Name one of the last three hosts of Family Feud. Type it in the chat. Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey. Anybody else know anybody else there? LuDrean, thank you, said Steve Harvey. Wilma said Steve Harvey. Lydia, Steve Harvey. Anybody else? Richard Dawson. Okay. There it is. So our first award today goes to our first giveaway, which is going to be courtesy of JM Designs, and Jen Miles is going to LuDrean Peterson. Yay to you. All right. So we are going to pause right now and get the party started while we make sure we record that LuDrean is our winner for our first giveaway. And then after DJ Showboy helps us wake up and wind up, we're going to bring up our skincare and makeup glam squad lady, Jen Miles. All right.
You know I got it, guys. Hey, you know I got it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, DJ Showboy. All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. Damn it. Okay. All right. We're over here getting all worked up. We're getting our jam on. And, okay.
Oh, you look good.
We are back. I want to introduce you guys to the person who makes me look like
gorgeous.
I'm doing gorgeous. Who keeps me beautiful on those days when we all know what that's like. Say hi to our ladies.
Hi, everybody.
This is Jen Miles with JM Designs and Glam Squad. So hi, tell everybody a little bit about you.
Oh, wow. Where do I start? Okay. I am a beauty educator. I am a makeup artist, and I am a colorist. So I've been in the business for years. Years.
All right, well, let me ask you, so how can you help us be COVID compliant since we're all walking around with masks on our face?
Oh, that is a really, really good
Yeah.
question.
Mhm.
So what you guys don't know is the masks help us so that we don't contract anything or breathe in anything. But what it does also is it can change your skin texture. Does everyone recognize that? You either get a little drier or a little bit oilier, or you get something that's going on around here. Well, what's happening is that the skin cells are not being able to exfoliate. So we have to really pay attention to skincare right now. So your basic is your cleansing. Then follow up with some type of exfoliant, whether it's mild or to the extreme. It doesn't matter if your skin is oily or dry or somewhere in between, you have to exfoliate your skin. Then you want to use some type of moisturizer. Even oily skin needs a moisturizer, ladies. Even oily skin needs a moisturizer. For those in the back that didn't hear me, even oily skin needs a moisturizer. So if you have the basics, it will really help you during this crazy time that we're all wearing masks. And then anything else is just kind of extra. You know, these serums that they have out there now, anything that would help aid your skin right now is really, really important. And then when we get back to our new normal, you'll be able to reformulate your skin treatment. So skin treatment is very important.
Okay. Now I wanted to ask you, in the off chance that people are going out to events and that we're socially distant and we're not wearing a mask, how do we look our best with minimum work?
With or without a mask?
Without a mask.
Okay, well, hello, beat your face.
Okay, easy enough.
You know, I mean, if you, so fix yourself on one aspect of your face, okay? And highlight it. If it's your eyes, do your eyes. If it's your cheekbones, do your cheeks. If it's your lips, honey, wear your favorite color. That's whatever makes you feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Is what's going to be your best foot forward. Because if you feel good, you're telling the world, I feel good. And that's what really matters, especially right now.
So lashes are the rage. How many different looks are there for lashes? And then how can we tell what are good lashes and bad lashes? I'm always just amazed at which ones are which.
Okay, there's a lot of different lashes out here, ladies. Okay, so don't get into the hype of the lashes. Go with what you like. But I do have a few samples here just to kind of give you a trajectory, which way to go. So on the baby spectrum of lashes, they look like regular itty bitty. Oh, you can't even see that. All right. Well, you know what? I tried. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
You see that? That's a baby lash. That's something that you put on and look like you have one coat of mascara on. Okay, that's one. Now, the next one is more of an everyday lash. Okay, this one's a little bit thicker, but see the spaces in between? That allows your lashes to come through. So it now makes you look like you got 3 coats of lashes. 3 coats of mascara. Okay. Now we get into what I like to call the professional lash. when you mean business. These are silk, so they have a different feel, but they're 3D. Now, some people would consider that a big lash, but trust me, it is not. Okay. Yeah, I'm not good at this. All right. Oh my goodness, look at that. Aren't they gorgeous? Now they crisscross each other. So what it's going to do is give you fullness and dimension without overdoing it. And that's considered a medium lash, ladies. Medium. Now.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, Lord, jeez.
What is this?
Woo! I call this one Mr. Fluffy.
This is Jonika Lynch from Opulent.
This is the Jonika lash.
That's her.
This is mink. Okay.
Oh,
see, I need assistance here. That's a mink lash. It flares out on the end, so that's considered a wispy to give you more of a cat eye look. Okay. Now, let me show you side by side. Remember, this was the dinky baby lash. Oh, she's so dinky. You do that also well. All right. Versus Mr. Fluffy. Got it?
Wow.
It's beautiful though.
Okay.
Now, I personally have on magnetic lashes. I personally love magnetic lashes. I don't endorse this brand. I just like the lash. But you get a cute little case and there's a magnetic strip in here. So literally you take your lash off, voila, there's little magnets in there and it just goes right back on. Yep, not 10.
Wow.
So that's basically it. And our beautiful Janice here, she has on a mink lash as well. This would be considered a full lash, but you need things like that when you're on camera. As you can see the difference, this is me boring. This is me looking normal. You have to put on a significant lash for camera work. Now for every day, get what fits your face. Get what you're comfortable with. Don't get just because some in person told you that this is what you need. Does that make sense, ladies? Okay, I hope I've answered your questions in regards to lashes. They're for you to feel and do your best moving forward.
And to our winner, LuDrean, you're going to get a gift from Jen Miles and JMD Designs because you are our winner for the first question of today. So yay to you. We'll get everything to you. Yep.
And just so that you can get an idea of what it is you're getting, it's going to be this beautiful box here. Yep. My assistant, she put this together so nicely. Yep. It's this beautiful box.
Ooh.
And here are the lashes on the inside. So Dream, these are coming to you, dear. Dream.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, ladies.
All right. So everybody, how do they contact you? How do they find out about you? Maybe they can order lashes online.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So my website is jmglamsquad, one word, .net. That's jmglamsquad.net.
Okay.
Thank you so very much. I so appreciate it.
No problem. No problem.
Give
If
her
you
a
guys
round.
need anything, just call us and let us know. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now, this is one that we're going to open it up to our speakers and to all the people who've joined in on our call today. We're talking about COVID-19. And I would really love for you to either, your mics are unmuted, I believe, so you can talk, or you can also type in the chat. One thing you hated about COVID-19.
That's a good question. Hello,
Jonika.
everyone. Hi, how is everyone? I would say for me, what I disliked about COVID-19 was the ability to be able to face-to-face see people and hug. And, I'm a hugger. So to not be able to actually hug people, my family members, and get to go see my grandkids, that was alarming to me. It took a while to adjust to the new norm.
Anybody else?
Yeah, the seeing people part was hard because we would normally do our Sunday family dinners and things like that. So not being able to do that how we normally did it. Once the summertime came, we turned it into more summer or Sunday family cookouts so that we could be outside and still be able to social distance. But that was really hard, not being able to just sit around the living room with our huge family, because it would be 20 of us on a Sunday afternoon. So that was definitely a hard part.
And then what is one thing you liked about COVID? Can we hear from somebody different?
Sure, I can share on that. So for me, don't be alarmed, but I couldn't cook before. I couldn't cook, never cooked in my life. Got married young, couldn't cook. And I actually learned how to cook. And I mean, like, throw down, cook.
Wow.
So it gave me a chance to do that. And also more time to spend with God and build up my relationship more. So yeah, I enjoyed it. And no traffic, no beltway traffic to work.
Yeah, I don't miss that at all. So I agree with you on that. Anybody else? Anybody else?
Ask her if she can schedule time so we can come test that good cooking over there.
Oh my gosh.
When it's all over, you can do a drive-by. We can work that out.
All right, now in the interest of, okay, y'all, excuse me. This is just one of those things, y'all. For those who know me, y'all know me. Ow. There it is. My phone's not cooperating today. Okay. Now, do we really believe COVID is real?
Yes.
Yeah, I caught COVID. It's real.
Okay. Okay. And then
Can I just add though, you said something good about COVID.
Yeah.
Lydia Cole, who's my sister, actually started a weekday family prayer call for our family on Zoom. And it's something that has really been wonderful, that even though we haven't been able to see each other, we actually talk more than we did before the pandemic, because most of us talk every day and we pray.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Okay, so could you have survived on a boat for 30 days? Does anybody remember those cruise ships that got stuck in the water at the beginning of the pandemic? Did any of
Yes.
you guys survive that for 30 days? Anybody?
I'm not sure.
I probably would have survived it, but I would have went mentally, I just would have lost it mentally being there. As far as, health wise, I probably would have just stayed in my cabin, not wanting to be around anyone else to catch anything, but mentally, I don't know. I don't know where my mind would have gone.
I think COVID has tested all of our faith in whatever arena we were in, made us really start to look at things differently.
Well, speaking of arenas, I think that it really has changed and touched just about every industry, just throughout the whole world. So let me ask, we're going to talk to Karla Davis Luster. We're going to pick on you right now. As a matter of fact, you will get a special gift if you can tell us your thoughts on this. If you were in charge of COVID, what would you do now?
What would I do now? I would continue to make sure that we have enough of the Pfizer, the Moderna, Johnson's, or whatever the vaccinations, that I would make sure that we had enough available. I would make it available to whomever that would like to take it. And I would possibly, just give some type of incentive. And I would probably do something to inform people more about, what it is. I mean, I know that they talk a lot about, they're putting it out there, where it's come from. But I think having more information in detail to actually, and I want to say the African-American neighborhoods, to educate them a little bit more, to give them a little bit more comfortability with taking it, I would probably focus on doing that.
Wow. Okay, nice. All right, anybody else real quick before we move on to the next piece?
I think
No?
this is Lydia. I would create more mobile vans that actually went to people's homes, and also out in more rural areas and places where people who aren't in nursing homes but are really old and still have trouble getting, even though they're eligible to get the vaccine, they don't have a way to get there. So I would add more support in that area.
Okay. Okay, nice. All right. Now, thank you, ladies. Thank you all. And I just want to let you all know that at the end of this, we are going to all get swag bags. So you'll have to, somehow we got to figure out how to get everything to you guys. And so we're working on that right now. We'll have that answer for you by the end of this show. Okay. Coming up next, we're going to talk to our authors and talk about page turners. You know them as books. I'd like to introduce Karla Luster Davis, Lydia Jones, Wilma Jones, Jonika Haynes Lynch, LaTasha Briscoe, and LuDrean Peterson. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
We are going to start out with Wilma and Lydia Jones talking about their book. And there's a sequence, there's a reason for why we're doing this.
So I'm Lydia Jones Cole. I just wanted to make that notation. So
yes.
Hi.
Lydia Jones Cole. Who's going first?
I'll go first. I'm Wilma. Lydia and I, yes, are sisters. I wrote a book, and it was published at the end of 2018 called My Halls Hill Family, More Than a Neighborhood. It is a historic memoir about our neighborhood, which was a historically Black neighborhood in Arlington, Virginia. It got started in 1866, and my book kind of tells the story of 100 years of the neighborhood as told from our family's perspective. And I think it's pretty interesting because one of the reasons is because our older brother, Michael Jones, was one of the 4 children to integrate schools in 1959 in the state of Virginia, which, if you know about Virginia, was a big place of segregation and massive resistance and all of that. So we tell the story my book tells the story from a perspective that people haven't heard before. And it's been very well accepted and is now in some schools and libraries, but it is kind of an impetus for, I work with other people trying to get them to also share their stories, either on my blog or writing their own book.
Okay.
I'll segue that to my sister.
And I wrote my book this year. It published in December 2020, and it's sort of really focuses more on our family and gives you sort of an inside look at how a large African-American family growing up through a lot of the seminal changes that happened in this country. Wilma mentioned integration, but also a lot of it covers segregation and how that affected us as kids. There are 7 of us. So we had a big family, one of the biggest families in our neighborhood. And a lot focuses on the importance of having parents who put their kids first, who really focus on making sure their children have everything they need, while dealing in a segregated neighborhood, living in a small house with 9 people. Later on, at one point, 10 of us. My uncle moved in, and it's a wholesome, really happy story, but it also interjects and tells how kids, teenagers, dealt with the effects of segregation, integration, and how my parents made sure that despite everything going on, and not just my parents, our whole neighborhood, it was really, one of my sisters, when I interviewed her, at the end, I asked, well, how would she characterize where we grew up? And she called it Wakanda. And I thought that was just an appropriate description. I hadn't thought of that, but it was like that because everybody was kind of family. So it talks all about that. And then just how we were able to do what our parents wanted us to do and to have an even better life than they were able to have.
You know, I just want to say, Lydia Jones Cole, okay, yay, okay, and Wilma Jones, I love your story. And you remember, because Lydia Jones Cole joined me on the radio, It's Janice, and we were talking about, you said we're like the Waltons, and I said, is that the Waltons of Walmart, or is that the Waltons or the TV show? Because depending on which family, you know, we could have a completely different outcome. So that was really, really fun. I love you ladies, and thank you for sharing. Now I want to go to LaTasha Briscoe and LuDrean Peterson to talk a little bit about their books, because again, there's a sequence to this.
Yep. LuDrean, do you want to start or you want me to start since I'm running my mouth?
You can start. You can go ahead. Oh, either way, you know, I'm flexible.
So the name of our book, which actually has a story behind even getting the title for our book, is We All Grieve Differently. And the book is based on the loss of our mothers. And it's a collaborative project. So it is an anthology where we have 10 other co-authors that will be joining us, or that are joining us, rather, sharing their stories of loss. And the loss varies from death to absence, because there are a lot of women who have not had their mothers in their lives, and they're talking about the grief of that absence of the relationship that they wish they could have had, or that was taken away from them. This project for me, and I'm gonna let LuDrean touch on the piece about how we actually got to the point of the book. But the project for me is 10 years plus in the making. I lost my mom in 2009. And shortly after she passed away, I said I wanted to write a story about her because I started learning a little bit more about my mother, who she was, a lot of the things that she dealt with when I was growing up and that she had to protect me from as a child. And so as you get older, you learn what these things mean. As a child, you look at certain situations and you think they all are there to hurt you or affect you in a way that you quite don't understand. And so you make assumptions. But after her passing, I learned a lot more about my mother. And I actually started appreciating and respecting our relationship a whole lot more because there were broken pieces that I never got healing from when she was here. And now that I'm able to put those pieces together, it helps me in a way, not only where I can say there's healing with our relationship, but also in some other relationships, my own daughter and other relatives that I've had to deal with, not knowing the why behind actions during those times. But I'm glad, we've got our draft in. This has definitely been an emotional project, but we do have our drafts in. We're expecting to launch around Mother's Day, but and I'm gonna let LuDrean actually explain how we got to this point. Because again, I lost my mother in 2009 and I kept pushing it off. I kept saying I want to write, but I didn't know how to actually start writing. And the night I wrote my chapter for this book, it all came out one night and everything. Oh my God, it was almost 6,000, 7,000 words, which I had to reduce for a chapter. But everything that I wanted to say, or the main things that I wanted to say, came out in one night.
Now, can I just say real quick before LuDrean picks this up, I hope all of you ladies will hold on because I have questions for all of the authors in a minute. So just let us get through it. Give me a minute. I'm coming back to all of you with some questions.
Absolutely. So thank you for this opportunity. So I'll kind of do the flip side of LaTasha and what she said. So unfortunately, my mom passed away the most recent of the group. So my mom transitioned November of 2020. So just months ago. Oh, wow. And the thing with it is I have like a serious history of chronic anxiety when it comes to death in hospitals. Like I don't do those. And this has been since I had been a young girl. Over the past 3 years, from 2017 to the earlier part of 2020, not really any COVID related. Like about 50 people that I know passed away, and it was those where you would be like, I'm only going to the funeral for those who meant something. They all meant something. So I was pushed into this platform where I needed to be face to face with death. And so a couple months prior to my mom passing away, I had a dream that she passed away. So prior to her passing away. So there were so many things that I began to think about, and I was like, at this point, I felt it. It was a dream. And I woke up in the middle of the night about 3:57 a.m. and I felt it as if my mom died. And I was just like, God, why would you let me feel this pain? Why would you let me feel this pain as if my mom actually died? So of course, I couldn't wait till the morning come for me to wake her up so I can give her a call to make sure she was breathing. So I called her. I waited till about 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, she answered the phone, hello. And I was like, hey, what you doing? And she was like, I'm asleep. And I was like, oh, okay. Just wanted to hear her voice. So I was good. Won't go through the details from that, but a few days later, she was hospitalized. She came home, but she never looked the same again. And from all the dreams and all the things that happened, this made me open up and have conversations with her that I never would have had in my life. Some things that I just didn't want to bring up because of past history, but I began to have these discussions. I began to take every moment, every hour, every second as if it was her last, not knowing that it was going to be her last. So I ended up finding out questions to a lot of childhood issues, a lot of things that went on. I got the courage to ask her those questions. So moving fast forward with that, the day I got the call, it was as if I knew from that morning, because all morning from the day that I woke up, it was just everything. And I tried to call her every hour, no answer. Fast forward, my ability to get through this. So this is my mother, right? So out of all the deaths that you went through, you would think that your mom would be the most it was definitely the most heartbreaking, but I thought it was going to break me down. But God came to me. He held me, helped me throughout the entire process. And people are looking at me because they know my history. They know my history. And I'm like, God chose me for this miracle to explain people and to let them see his being and what he does. So throughout the process, I was able to stand up, hold my ground, figure out the different things. I don't want to go into all the details of it because I know we have so much to go. But at that point, the night of my mom's death, I came home, I was in the shower, and it was like, write a book. And I was like, God, for real, write a book. But I was obedient and I just started taking notes and writing down the information. By the end of the week, I sent it to Tasha and said, hey, I got this proposal that I want to do. Tasha and I friends. I didn't know her mom passed away previously years ago. And she said, I had this idea and wanted to do this for years. And the rest was history. And all of the ladies who came on board just came on board. The title of it was sort of like by accident, but ended up working perfect. So when I tell you, everything for this project was divinely orchestrated. It has God's hands all over it. We didn't have to do anything. But be obedient. So I can't wait for the project to come out. It was to help me along the way with my grieving process. So we're not even, I'm still early into it. And then on top of that, my sister passed away last month. So how I'm able to stand, it has nothing to do with me at all. I promise you. I'm a church girl, but it has nothing to do with me. It is God's his ability to show and use me. So I look forward to this project and can't wait to help others as we all go along in this grieving process, because we all grieve differently. So thank you for the opportunity to share.
Is there anybody who wants to comment on just listening to our authors so far? Because LuDrean, yeah, you and LaTasha, your stories really speak to me. And I feel like there are some women on here that I do know. And I know that some of our stories are very similar. Anybody else want to just speak out to these ladies about this, their project? Okay.
I commend you ladies for listening and turning up the value of your spirit and listening into what God has propelled you to do and assigned you to do. You know, like our beautiful hostess, Janice said, a lot of us probably do have some stories that are some similar to what you have experienced. I myself. So when I heard you ladies talk and I put in the chat, I would have loved to be a part of that project. Same thing when I lost my mom. I was not obedient at that time to what God was telling me. Just real quick, I was not able, because I allowed history and anger from that history. I was not allowed to be really physically present in the moment, to be there for my mom. Matter of fact, I was so obedient when they contacted me, I wouldn't even go to the hospital, right? Because for me, it was one of those things like, here we go again. My mom was I would call at that point a career drug user, and I didn't know anything about the disease behind it at that point. My thought was, you should just be able to just stop and move on, get on with your life. Like, we should not as a family have to endure this pain because you have made a decision. That was my thinking. So the last time, she's been in the hospital multiple times. The last time she had a stroke, it was a minor stroke. So I'm like, well, she made the major stroke, she'd come home. That was my thinking. And I didn't get to the hospital. By the time I went to the hospital, they had already moved her body down to the morgue. I didn't even get a chance to see her. So when I'm listening to you ladies, I'm just so happy. I'm excited. I can't wait to actually read the chapters in this book. I know will be therapeutic and healing for me, as well as a lot of women. I would love to at any time help you with the promotional part and put your ladies on some of the platforms I'm involved in as well. So I would love for us to stay connected. And I thank Janice for opening this up at this present time, because we can't move forward if we won't heal. And sometimes it takes some of us to be that person to open up that door through our stories, through our pain, through our therapeutic process to help someone else. So I absolutely applaud you women for just being obedient.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. And we'll definitely be in connection with you, because this is not just a book. It is seriously, you know how people be like, it's not a this, it's a movement.
Yes.
It is seriously a movement, because we have come in contact with so many people who are having difficulty with grieving. So we have not only do we have the 10 other co-authors, but we also have specialists who are a part of the book project. So it's really a healing process. We have our spiritual advisors as well as grief counselors with resources and different things like that. So this is a heart project. It's really a heart project because we want people to get healed or help them to go through the process of healing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, wow, powerful stories. Now, up next, we're going to hear from Jonika Haynes Lynch. And then last, we're going to talk to Karla Luster Davis, who has a romance novel. I saved her for last because I asked her some spicy questions at the end. So, Jonika Haynes Lynch, let's talk a little bit about your book project as well.
Listen, I'm ready to save my project just to hear the spiciness going on, right?
Okay, we can circle back now. We can circle back. You see?
So my name is Jonika Lynch, and I guess I would just speak on my last book project, which is the Her World anthology. What is scheduled to be released in like 2 weeks. We had pushed back the date. I always try to do something in Women History Month, but this is an anthology. This book is a book comprised of other women in business who are sharing their expertise and their wisdom, giving out insightful information to help anyone who aspire to grow their business, to scale up in their business. I think it's so important that the knowledge that God has given us, the gifts, that we use our gifts to help enhance the life of other people. So this book is a book of wisdom, a book of information on business tips. Also, I wrote a couple of books. One of them I have right here. This one is December. This particular book was written last year. It launched December of last year. This book is a continuation of my journal line. I have a journal line called Opulence Miro's Journal Line. This book is a book that talk about my journey. It's a personal book, talk about my journey and everything that I had to endure and overcome to grow as a businesswoman. You can find out more about me and my books at Anything Opulent Lady. I'll text it in. The book talks about the Opulent Lady brand. I am known to many as the business matchmaker. So what I normally do is just put the right people in the right room at the right time so they can properly introduce themselves. So any writings, anything that I have participated in, whether it's an anthology, a book, or journals, it's really a destiny map and roadmap for those who are trying to scale in their business and navigate in the professional world of networking. And basically that's what it's about.
You know, I just want to say to all of you ladies, wonderful job and just wonderful stories. What I'm going to also want to let you know that we're going to send you the link at the end of this for you to reshare on your pages with your friends and fans and all of that. Karla Davis Luster, The Woman Tells. Tell everybody a little bit about your book.
Okay, first of all, I just like to say thank you for the opportunity to be on this program with such amazing women and just to hear their stories and to hear about your novels as well. And I will go into my novel, but I just wanted to say to the young ladies that are writing LuDrean and LaTasha on your family things, I too share in that. it was not my mom, it was my dad. And my story is pretty significant, and I get really choked up when I think about it. It was about my dad. He had cancer and he was on machines, and they took us to, they wanted my sister and I to make the decision whether or not to keep him on or take him off. So I want to say what your work is doing, please keep doing that, because there are a lot of people that are struggling that need to hear from you and need to know how to heal, because they don't know how to heal. So I really respect you and appreciate that. But I'm going to move to the romance, and on a happy note. My book is called The Woman Tells. The book is about a couple basically that struggles. They go through infidelity. Both of them, they have problems in the relationship, and they make decisions, and they both decide to step out on the relationship and be with someone else. She takes a paramour, which is a French term for a male mistress, and he takes a mistress, for his, for him. The book, the way it's written, it gives each and every character that's in the book the opportunity to describe, their story. So in terms, when you think about a mistress, when you think about a male paramour, play, or whatever else, we all tend to have a thought of, oh, that's a bad thing, and they did this, and they broke up a family, which is, definitely under God's sight, that's what it is. However, the way I write the novel is that each one of the characters tell their story, and in specific is the mistress. She kind of goes through and tells her story, what happened in her life with her and her husband, and the things that she experienced to bring her to a bitter point, what made her be open to the fact of even entertaining, like being with another guy. So it is very, each character explains themselves. Also, I go through telling the whys, and I talk about how everyone in a relationship, you have the responsibility and accountability to your mate to share what are your deal breakers, what are the things that you're going through, what are things that you like, your dislikes, and whatever the outcome is, we that regardless of what happens. I also try to, in the book, talk about just things that are a very necessity, and those things are respecting each other. I talk about honor. I talk about loyalty, commitment. I also talk about, when I talk about code, that is, seeing those forbidden lines, those things that the invisible line that's there, but people tend to, in all of these things, I try to wrap it up in a chapter, just saying, what is it that you did when you first met this guy that you're with, that you start off by cooking, you're dressed up, you're all made up, you're speaking well, you're on your best behavior. And then into the relationship, you kind of lost it. And you just, we do have things that we have to take care of. But at the end of the day, you have to keep in mind that this is a relationship and you are dealing with another person. Never let that just go to waste or to the side. You have to make sure that you are definitely keeping it top of mind and just making time and doing things to help keep the spice in the relationship.
Karla Luster Davis, thank you for that. So, okay, ladies, yes. I'm going to give y'all some homework now. We don't have to answer these questions right now. But, for those who actually came to the first Girl Talk, and hey, Shelly McDuffie, I see you out there. Wow. And we, one of the questions I asked women was, let's talk about sex. And, everybody was super quiet. So I won't phrase it that way this time, because they were looking at me like, what? But what I want to say is think about these questions. And if you want to share, you share. If you don't, you don't. But this is just some tips or some questions that people might want to think about. Would you stay in a relationship if your spouse cheats? We don't have to answer it, just some food for thought. What is your love language? Do we really know? Because I had to think about that one. If you're, whether you're looking or not looking, because sometimes women, we give off, and I have a really intense question I'm getting ready to ask all of you in a minute. Sometimes women, we give off signs that maybe we're not meaning to do. And then what is off limits for you and your relationship? So if you want to share, feel free to do so. If you don't, hey, I understand. And so Karla, I love talking to Karla. She is just so funny, and we just have had the best time on the radio and some prior Zooms. And so, but here's a question. So thank you, Karla, for that. And so here's a question to all of the authors. At what point do you think you are ready to call yourselves a writer? And then what is the difference between a writer and an author? Or not?
Yes, I'll jump in.
Okay.
I'm a leaper. I'll jump in. I think an author is someone who has a message, and it's not that a writer don't have a message, but because it's all a message in it. But I am like LuDrean. I was driving and God pulled me over on the side of the road right there by Sinai Hospital in Baltimore, and was like, "You're going to write." And I remember just sitting there crying, and this was in 2005. And in 2005, even now, I didn't see myself as an author or writer. I was like, but God was like, "You're going to tell this message." So I think for me, when I look at what's the difference is I have friends who are very fluent at the penmanship, right? They can write stories like Harry Potter. I mean, sequels back to back. They're very gifted. She is gifted. She's written plays and different things as a writer. For me, I look at myself as the author who authored a book as the messenger, which is a big difference. Robert Kiyosaki talks about that. He said he remembered being in Paris and a writer actually said to him, I hate the fact that they have you on New York as best-selling author. You're not an author. And Robert Kiyosaki said he turned around and said, "Yes, I am an author. It was my story. I was the author of the book. No, I didn't write it. I had a ghostwriter, but that was my story." So I think that is a difference, because you have ghostwriters out here that if you sit down and you give them your story, you talk to them about your story, they have good penmanship and can help you conceptualize your thoughts and put it down on paper, because there are some people who have challenges with that. But as a actual storyteller, explosive storyteller, as an author, someone, which all of us have a story in us, when it's time to, speak in really, really from the heart of the purpose, it's a heartbeat in that story, and you're just saying your truth. So as I don't see myself as a writer, I see myself as an author. And I recognized years ago that there was a difference for me.
Okay.
And I'd like to
Anybody else?
piggyback on that, sure. So you can take it from whatever world that someone is in. So we're some about total experiences, right? So I'm a dualpreneur. So I have my own business, delivering on ideas and thoughts, as well as I work for the federal government full-time by day. And I'm required to write. I write policies. So you can write a letter, you can write poems, you can write various things. An author, I associate it more with a book or a body of work in terms of like an ebook, because we have all different formats of that now. So that's how I look at it, and piggyback. And it is more so of telling your story. When you're telling your story, and if it's in that format, then I think that you have the right to be called an author. And me, I consider myself a writer and an author, and it depends on the situation that I need to pull out my skills to be a part of. So this book project is actually my 5th project that I'm a part of. So yes, I'm 5-year author, and by golly, by writing, coaching, and all the other things that I spend a lot of time writing.
Yeah. Okay, guys, because they're giving me the all right, come on, move it along sign. So I need to do that. So thank you all for that. And I love all the information that we got, and just hope you guys will stick with us for the program, because we've got some really interesting things that are coming ahead. Now, please type in the name of your books and how people can contact you and support you. And by the way, LuDrean, I would love to use those stairs behind you for my next photo shoot. And for those of you who need an event planner, Jonika Haynes Lynch is your girl. So just want to let you know. And Karla, that red is really working for you, lady. All right. Now, here's one question that I want you ladies to think about before we go to our next DJ break. Overachiever syndrome. Are you a person that likes to do? Is that your personality? Do you feel you have to downplay your gifts because others are not living to their fullest life or living up to their fullest life? What are your thoughts on the overachiever syndrome? I really want to share my story with this, but you ladies are going to have to hang on and stay on there with me and stay in there with me after the break. And if you have an answer to that question, type it in the chat and we'll talk about it when we come back after the DJ break. All right, be right back. Darn it, that was my song. Okay. All right, guys, so we are back with more of the talk. Welcome to Girl Talk 3 with me, your host, Janice McLean DeLoatch. Thank you to everybody who's joined our program today. I'm so happy that you guys could be with me this Sunday evening. Now, last when we left, we talked about the overachiever syndrome. And I just want to share, if you guys don't mind a minute, my own story. I've always been pretty busy, just kind of doing things that I liked, that I felt helped to make a difference to in whatever area, reason, rhyme, or why. Like, for instance, I did a pantyhose vending machine back in the day, but the reason for that was because I had a hole in my pantyhose and my nylons, and it seemed like there was nowhere available for me to go get them. So I thought, well, you know, if I had a machine that I could put my money in and get these pantyhose out right at my job, that would be absolutely amazing. And I did do that. Then I wanted to talk about talk to entrepreneurs and talk about business and find resources for women. And before there was Shark Tank and Undercover Boss and The Profit, and wow, I'm really promoting those shows. But anyway, there was me in DC on Capitol Hill with my little mic and my camera. As a matter of fact, I started out when Maria Bartiromo started with Closing Bell, and Entertainment Tonight was 24 years young. So we talk a little bit, when you even think about the history of that. When I look at Entertainment Tonight, Maria Bartiromo, sometimes I wonder how media works to women and people of color. I mean, you guys can answer that on your own, I'm sure. But tell me your thoughts about that, because I've often felt like I had to either act like I was stupid, because you can't really exercise how smart you think you are, or even figure things out. And it's not really so much that you're smart, but sometimes I wonder if our society really, if we're ready for people who can think outside the box. And I feel like if you do, that you're punished for it. At least that has been my experience to a certain extent. But I also realized that the group of people at the time that I was with didn't really understand what I was trying to do for myself. And once I changed that box, my circle and people changed as well. So tell me your thoughts on that.
This is Lydia.
Anybody?
I would say that it obviously, I think, depends on what environment you're in.
Yeah.
I worked at BET for 11 years before they went public. And so obviously it's a predominantly all Black environment. But more than that, I think what made it a place where you could think outside the box, where actually it was encouraged to think outside the box, is because it was new and growing. And so there was lots of room for innovation and making things happen, having big ideas and making them work with very little money. And then I've also been in other environments that are major corporations where I came with a different perspective than the other people that worked there, than most of the other communications people I work with. But initially, people weren't very open to things. But once I started making things happen that people didn't think could happen, they changed. They started listening. So I think that it depends, and particularly when you're in an environment that's where you're in a minority. Sometimes it's for me, I found it was about sitting back and figuring out how to be successful in that environment, how to get my ideas taken seriously, and understanding how they worked. It took me a minute to do that, but once I did, I was able to be successful and have people take my ideas, even though they were different, more seriously.
Oh, I need to talk to you.
Okay.
Off camera. Definitely, I need to talk with you. Yes. Okay. And then, so thank you for that, Lydia Jones Cole. I want to move forward, and we're going to fashion forward with our next two guests, Alunwa Ikpeazu and Carlos Palmer. Alunwa, you want to share?
Hi,
your
Janice.
story?
Hi, ladies.
Hi.
It's just wonderful to be here this Sunday evening with you all. Thank you, Janice, for having me here. And I'll talk just a little bit about myself and talk a little bit about fashion, if that's okay. And that was a perfect segue actually into my own story. I am a physician by profession. I like to say I'm a doctor by day and entrepreneur by night. And you wonder as a woman, if you have these dreams and if you have these ambitions, will anybody take you seriously? Like, I'm a physician, I'm supposed to be doing just that. Is it okay to also act on my other hobbies, dreams, and things, such as being an entrepreneur, just as being a businesswoman? And it took me years of struggling, trying to reconcile the two people I have inside me, the person who gets up every morning and goes to work and does sees patients, and that person who has a business inside of her that is trying to bring it out. And you hear a lot of no's, maybes, whys, why don't you just do what you've been doing and you're good at this and just leave it there. But I'm here to encourage anyone. If you do have whatever your chosen path in life is, whatever you found yourself in, and you feel that, I hear that voice, like some of the authors have said, you almost know that you do have a message, you were told to do this, go ahead and act on that. Because if you believe in God like I do, you know that he has a destiny for you. You know that he has given you that gift, and that you know that he's able to make it happen for you. He's able to make that dream that he put inside of you to come to a fruition. And so that's my little story with how I started my brand. It's called Ethnicity. It's African accessories brand. We have different things, little handbags, bangles, earrings, like I have here. I have my bangle as well. But it was a struggle for me to agree, to come to terms with the fact that it's okay to do what I do every day and branch out to do this other thing that's a passion for me. For ethnicity, for me personally, it's two things. I'm originally from Nigeria, so I know how things are there. People struggle every day to put food on the table. And so this, for me, was an opportunity. And I do this with my sister. She's the co-founder of the brand. She lives in Nigeria. And so what we do is we have women in Africa who are talented, who craft these accessories. We give them our designs, and they make this beautiful, beautiful thing. And then my sister puts it together, does quality check, all of that, and sends it to me. I live in Florida, so they come straight to me here. We have an online store, and then we sell online. So we started a couple of years ago. Luckily for us, very fortunately, we started this brand about the time Black Panther movie came out. So we got a boost because everybody was trying to have an African thing to go and see the movie. We have head wraps as well. And so we have head wrap, bangles, earrings, beautiful, beautiful purses. And so that was really, and that's, you have confirmation that you're not just crazy. At the time we started, we had Black Panther happen. There was this massive reorientation of people to African culture and African fabrics and African fashion. And so we were recipients of that. I'm thinking to myself, what if we're not in place? what if I had not been obedient to that voice, we would not have had the recognition and every success that we have achieved so far. So my little message today is, please, whatever that voice, if you're sure that you're hearing it, the same way you heard that voice, the same way will God guide you to bring that dream to fruition. And if you just give me 2 seconds, let me just show you some of the beautiful stuff that we have. So bangles, we have, of course, we have the bangles. So you can recognize this, right? This is the typical African theme bangles that everybody, kind of knows. We have the other ones that look like this. This is bashiki. And then this is just African fabrics. And most of our stuff is made from African fabrics, I must point it out. So for summer, we have cute things like this. This is a crossover purse. We have more earthy things, earthy colors like this. And so if you go on Instagram, actually, we have an Instagram page. This is more dressy, like this is for dinner and things like that. This is for the Diva and You. We have, it's actually multicolored, and you can have the purse here. So we do this, and before COVID, we had the opportunity to be vendors at women's events. We support women events here. We support women back in Africa. So we are women owned, minority owned. And so we've done a lot of those kinds of things. So if you ever feel you need to look fabulous like I do right now, and just add a little pop of color to your outfit. They make great gifts, by the way. Mother's Day, graduation, girlfriends, anything, anybody. You can pop over to our Instagram handle or to our website. It's called Ethnicity, ETNICITI, ethnicity.com, or just Ethnicity on Facebook, Ethnicity on Instagram, Ethnicity on Pinterest, Ethnicity everywhere. It's Ethnicity, but we spelled it wrong. It's ETNICITI. We did that on purpose because, that's the way we would say it if we're saying it in Nigeria, ethnicity. But that's my story. Thank you. Back to you, Janice.
I absolutely love you, Olunwa. You know that. You know that you are my sister. Oh, and by the way, you forgot to send me one of those bangles, just so you know. I'm gonna hold you to that.
I will do that.
The trick to the name of your company is seeing whether or not people are paying attention to how they spell things. That's how you know whether or not they're listening. If they spell it wrong, you know that they weren't. If they spell it the way you spell it, then you know they were. Okay, thank you for being here. And stay in there with us now. Hang in there with us. We're almost at the end. I want to welcome also up next, Carlous Palmer, who is going to talk to us about high-end fashion. So on the other end, and he is an American designer. Welcome, my guest, Carlous Palmer.
Oh, you're able to hear me. Hi, ladies. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for being here. Tell everybody a little bit about you and what you design.
I always say this, I'm the first student to graduate from the Baltimore School for the Arts. I recently just finished showing my collection in Paris, and I also, for last season, I showed at International Digital Fashion Week. I've been designing for quite a while. I have a background in arts. I also, within the past few years, I did stop and do a little bit of medical training. So I'm kind of a two-sided coin as well, like your other guests. But I've been doing clothing forever, and the challenge, I think, with a lot of designers is how the industry works. It's kind of a long struggle of working for someone else, and I've been committed to just doing my own thing. And in doing your own thing, you kind of have it a little harder. But I find gratitude in it because I'm able to express myself, and I'm able to put what I want to say out into the universe, which I feel is very important.
How do we change trends to support Black designers? And this is for you, Carlous, but also Olunwa. How do we change trends to support Black designers?
I'm gonna say that, we have I say this a lot to people. Part of the problem is exactly in what you said. We want to follow the trends. Fashion trickles up or it trickles down. And what that means is it usually starts with the very wealthy, and we have to be very honest with how we are fed fashion, how we get it. We get it from the very wealthy. We get it from television. Who is in charge for the most part, or very, very powerful in television? It's not people of our color. And a lot of us, we follow suit with what the so-called powers that be do, and that's how we ultimately get our fashion. We look at the Grammys, we look at the award shows, and then everyone wants to hop on the bandwagon and do what's already out there. That is part of the reason why I struggle, because I do what's in my heart. I do what I see people are feeling or experiencing, and I create from that, or I create from what's going on in the universe around me. I think that we had discussed this on a past show, that a lot of people, if you follow fashion, you will realize that the color yellow was not typically used. It was not a typically used color, yellow, orange, and green. And we did not really start seeing those colors until Michelle Obama became the first lady. That's when we started really seeing yellow. Do your history, follow, backtrack, and really get honest about it. And you'll see, we did not see a lot of yellow. We saw yellow for baby clothes mostly, but in fashion, we didn't. So yellow is fairly new. Now these braids that everyone's calling the newest thing, it's not new, it's been out. Go to Africa, but people have been braiding their hair forever. As a matter of fact, braiding hair was how we actually survived. Slaves would hide food into their braids so that we would be able to eat. But it's like the TV tells us something and we all buy into it. We have to stop buying into it and start paying more attention and start supporting our own. We want to look like Kim Kardashian because Kim Kardashian has on Louis Vuitton. Well, guess what? Louis Vuitton, Tommy Hilfiger, many of these designers have publicly said they don't like us. Yet we support them anyway because we want to fit in and we want to feel like we've arrived. And then you have a designer like myself. You have, amazing designers that we don't get to play because value isn't put on us.
Okay, how do people follow you and support your line? What is the name of your line? And do you do women's wear or do you design for men?
I do a little bit of everything. I actually, as I said, I'm an artist by trade, so I have my own artistic vision under the name of Carlous Palmer, and I keep it Carlous Palmer all the time. But right now, I've been working with, through my travels, I've been studying graffiti and graffiti art. I've always implemented putting clothing or writing on my clothing. I'm working more with textiles, and in that I'm doing furniture, home furnishings, and clothing. But you can go right on my Facebook page and see, what it is that I do. You can Google search me, CarlousPalmer. I'm all over the place. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram.
Too, right? You showed in Paris.
We just got back from Paris. Yeah, we just got back from Paris. That was really, really an amazing thing. And I after COVID, we were invited to go to Milan and do Milan Fashion Week, and COVID really just interrupted a lot. So it's been more of a struggle for me. But Paris is something that I would like to do again. I was also invited to do Hawaii again. I did Honolulu a few years ago. So I've done some of the fashion weeks and the International Digital Fashion Week, which kind of catapulted us globally. We did 192 countries. So we got a lot of publicity from that. And this June, you will be able to see a lot more of what I'm doing, as some of our pieces will be in a department store.
Okay, and type information into the chat for people so they can follow you. Alunwa, do you have anything that you want to share as we wrap with you guys?
I wanted to say about her jewelry. Her jewelry's gorgeous. I just did some mud cloth dresses. Now I want to go. Yeah, so I need her website, because although I do pocketbooks, I don't do jewelry, and the jewelry was mind blowing. I love it. There's a young man that I met from Haiti, and he had a very, very bad incident, but his adopted father lives here, and they do the most amazing beading, and I'm like, it's so crazy how beautiful it is, and I'm always looking for that kind of stuff, and so I'm really excited to have her link.
Thank you so much,
Well,
Karla. I'm glad you love it. We actually work with designers. We like you, because we have the accessories, so they bring their clothes, and when they are doing the photo shoots and stuff, we have the models dressed in our designs. And I just a quick plug here. I actually had the opportunity of collaborating with a designer, Sebastian, who was local to South Florida, who ended up winning what is it called? The fashion what is it? Not America's Top Model, the other one. But anyway, so I can't remember it now. But he ended up winning that show. He was #1. So, and I was so proud that he had used some of our designs in his photo shoot. So that's a good thing. But I'd like to, just Carlos as well, probably touch bases with you offline to see how we can get to some of the fashion weeks. Like you said, fashion is really much more controlled than we realize. And I didn't realize that until I got into fashion. It's who wears what that exposes it. Michelle Obama started wearing bright colors, beautiful dresses and things like that. And people started wearing those kind of things. And you can imagine if somebody like Beyonce was wearing designs at the Grammys or any of those places, what do you think will happen? It would just explode. So people are actually fed fashion, and the rest of us just follow through. And like, again, you correctly said, if somebody like one of us is not up there trying to coordinate these things, designers of color don't get the exposure that they really should get, because there's strength in numbers. So if Lupita Nyong'o or Beyonce or one of these ladies, or even Tracy Ross just wears this kind of stuff, and one of the major shows, I tell you, I'll probably just resign the next day and just go ahead and do this full time. But that shows you the power of celebrity and the power of the people who make the decisions, how much you can impact what goes on.
I need to say two things, and I really, really hope that you all take this.
We got 2 minutes for you guys, real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing, it's really, really important, because she touched on something very important. We have the power to do a whole lot more than what we think. If you want to see my clothing in a store, call that store until you get on their nerves and ask. And that goes for your friend. If you want to see their stuff, that's what's going to determine it. I also want to say thank you to Penny Johnson-Gerald, who is an actress, and her sister, Nori Victoria. They wear a lot of my stuff. So yeah, you got, it's who wears you and who likes you.
Well, Carlos, I love you. So when I go to the Grammys and the Oscars soon, I'm going to be supporting. I'm going to be wearing Olunwa stuff and wearing your things. Listen, it's all in my head, I know, but really this is going to happen. How do people support you again? You can also give the information here, and then we'll follow up in the chat.
Carlos Palmer. My correct spelling is Carlous Palmer. I have 3 different online stores. You can buy merchandise that I design on a dropshipping site called Vida, Vida. I'm also on Zazzle, Zazzle, and that's under Carlos Palmer Studio. I also work with, I have images on my page that you can order direct from me. You can contact me and I can walk you through exactly how to purchase.
Okay.
And we'll also be in a department store in June. I won't say the name of it, but it's going to be amazing.
Okay. Well, make sure that you send me some information so I can share with all the people on our call. And,
Okay.
and again, what Carlos said is really important. There is power in numbers. And what we have to start doing, just like this girl talk, I know COVID has changed a lot of things, but I'm glad that you all could be here with me this evening. I thank you for being here. We have to start circulating positive information like this. And we know that Carlos is a designer now. So next time you guys are thinking about, who to buy instead of Gucci, which is really interesting. I'm always baffled by the rappers and how they're always talking about they're wearing Gucci or Tom Ford and even Jay-Z. I was very puzzled that he didn't have some kind of deal with him on that, but who knows? And let's try to get some of these rappers to change the conversation about what designers they're wearing and who they are, because we're not announcing that we have Black designers enough. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. Hang in there with us. We're almost at the end. But before we go, here's some trivia questions so that we can give away more giveaways. Name a song with the word house in the title. The first person who can come up with 4 songs with the word house in the title. And then here's the third question. Name a song with the word mama in it. We need 3 songs. The first person who can think of that and gives me 3 songs will also win another one of our special prizes that we have. Now, while you guys are thinking about those songs, the one with house in the title, we need 4. And song with the word mama in it, we need 3. I want to introduce DaRonda McDuffie, Quad Creations, who's talking about a new year, new you, and new business. Welcome, DaRonda McDuffie.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Janice. I'm so excited for you and I'm excited to be here. I appreciate you having me on this evening. Good evening, everyone. And I'm also happy to see some of the boss ladies that I have been connected with over the past few years. So thank you, everyone. I have been enjoying this evening session. And I apologize early. I have a couple of my bundles in the background that I've been shooing away and this and that and the other and shushing and going on mute and coming off mute. But I'm so excited about what you just shared with the fashion. At the core of my being, I have always loved fashion. Even from a child, I was that one hiding in the room sewing and writing on my clothes and cutting up everything and getting fussed at with my mother telling me to stop cutting my pants in half as soon as summer hit. So I want to talk to you about what some of you all just shared in reference to business. It's just an entrepreneurship. It's all about that unique positioning. And when she said the things that Michelle Obama had been wearing is bringing some different things to the foresight. That's another thing I want to talk about as being an entrepreneur. There are ways that you can soar. And by soar, I mean SOAR, and that means stand out and rise. The way that you soar is by uniquely positioning yourself in the industry and the market that you are in. And the way that you grab a hold of that is reaching out and bringing what you offer to the landscape. It can be 100 books, but nobody is going to write it in the voice and tone that you write it, just like my authors who spoke early. And I want to commend LuDrean and LaTasha. It's just the season, and it's so necessary for the book that you are writing. The timing is nothing but of excellence, and that's why I know that God has allowed it to come to the forefront. It's so needed for such a time as this with the pandemic. So I have 4 strategies that will help new entrepreneurs create longevity as they pursue their business, their passion. So one of the things is you must have, and you got to start with a plan. When LuDrean mentioned being a dualpreneur, I call it a parallelpreneur because I have worked for the government. I just retired. Woo! Excuse me while I praise him. I just retired last month. But LuDrean, when you said that, it brought to mind the fact that I'm a parallelpreneur. Up until February 2nd of 2020, I gave the government my cubicle life for 31 years, and I was so happy to walk away. But for 22 of those years, I've been an entrepreneur. And once it came into my life, I could not let it go. So when he began to, what's that song he played? Before I let go. See, I sing a little bit too, because the one thing that Miles Monroe said before he left this world, and he said, die empty. And so I act a little bit, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm a minister, and I'm a mom and a grandmom. I'm trying to die empty, y'all. And that's what I want you to do as that entrepreneur. I want you to come up with a plan. I don't care if you have to do, like I used to tell people, I'm a government employee by day, but I'm a event planner in all the rest of my life, because I don't care what time it was. My feet could be numb from me sitting up at the computer till 2 a.m. getting my real life done. That life beyond the cube, that entrepreneurship life. It runs through your veins, doesn't it, Janice? So I'm telling you, so you got to have a strategic plan, and it can be updated. If you write it all out in 2020, it's okay if we have to pivot in 2021 and change the script a little bit, as long as you stick to the goal, as long as you stick to the plan. It's okay to write and rewrite the script a little bit. I know my writers know what I'm talking about. Another thing you have to do is you got to connect with existing resources. My friend Alonwa said to Carlos, well, we need to connect. I got the bracelets, you got the fashion. We need to connect. It's all about connecting with the existing resources before you reinvent the wheel and go and say, well, I need somebody to make some clothes. No, Carlos, Mr. Carlos, he's already making the clothes. You need simply to connect with the resources that are there instead of constantly reinventing the wheel. That's what new entrepreneurs tend to do. But I want you to shorten the learning curve just by some of these tips that I'm sharing. I've just got 2 more. Stick with me for a minute. I want you to pursue and accept strategic win-win partnerships. You ever been in a partnership with somebody who dragged you down? Oh, come on, nod your head in the Zoom if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
They did not bring nothing to the table. You brought everything to the table. Oh, they was always late. They never on time. You brought everything to the table. You brought all the paper. You brought all the ink. You brought all the chalk. You brought the whiteboard. You brought everything. And then here they go. But they drained you. You need a strategic partnership that's a win-win. It has to be a balance where everybody's winning in this thing. A win-win. A win-win. I write about that in the blog that I keep called Goal Leader Nation. I'll put that in the chat later. And so a win-win partnership. One of the things that I learned when I was turning away business as a new entrepreneur, because I said that project, that event is too big for me. I can't handle it. Well, I didn't think to just let somebody else be outsourced with that the certain aspect of the event, and I just manage it. Because I wasn't thinking like a seasoned entrepreneur. Seasoned entrepreneurs know that partnerships are critical to business success.
Yes,
do we see all these small chains disappearing and being eaten up by the big chains? Partnership, strategic partnership to make it a win-win. And last but not least, you have to tie your purpose, your passion, your talents, the skills you offer to your lifelong legacy. Excuse me for 1 second. Y'all got me getting choked up over here. If you tie that to your legacy, it's going to save you from wasting time. It's going to help you gain clarity. It's going to prevent you from getting distracted and involved in time-wasting things. It's going to keep you from getting sidetracked from the shiny object syndrome. Anybody been there, done that, got a few t-shirts for it? Sidetracked, distracted.
Yes.
But if you tie it to your legacy and somebody offer you something that ain't gonna help you reach your legacy related goal, you can be like, no, thank you, goodbye, don't have time for that. It needs to be tied to your legacy. You're here to pursue that passion and that purpose because you have so much to offer. And this is a part of the landscape, whether that landscape is local, national, or like international. When he said international digital fashion week, woo, my antenna went up. Oh, look, I have on my vision board, hint to some new entrepreneurs, Dubai Fashion Week. And I know eventually I'm going to get there. Hello, Carlos, Mr. Palmer. Dubai Fashion Week. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
It's on my vision board. I see your lips moving, but I can't hear you. What was that?
I was invited and but you know what? In some places, I was invited to several countries that I need to research.
Okay.
I was invited to Windhoek, Namibia, which is in South Africa. I was invited to Dubai. I like certain countries, like I don't want to go to certain countries and I need to research these countries before I go. And and the other thing is, when they're calling me, they need to come up with a budget.
There you go. Strategic. What did I just say? It must be a win-win partnership. And so you said something else that's critical for new entrepreneurs: research, 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 research. Your competitors, your landscape, everything is all hindered around research. So I can't get into much more than that. I know Janice's time is limited. However, on payhip.com/DFM speaks. That's payhip as in pay me now or pay me later, but you gotta pay me.
Yes.
Hip, like hip hooray. Payhip.com / my initials for my full name, DaRonda McDuffie. That's D as in Daisy, F as in foot, M as in McDuffie, speaks with an S, SPEAKS. Okay, so that's payhip.com, DFM speaks, and there you'll find several resources, information sources, information resources, and tells you, I mean, it's marketing tools in there. It's some freebies in there as well. There's what I'm talking about tonight, launching your business, living your dreams. There's a workbook in there for that. And so I'm not going to hold you much more, but thank you again, Janice. It's been a privilege and an honor. I'm so happy for Jonika and all the authors and the things that you have coming up. And I am so in love with fashion. I have some things coming up related to that, so I will be reaching out. So excited about new connections. I'm going to be hosting a podcast soon, and most likely will be Wednesdays and Fridays. And so I will be in touch with some of you who are on the panel tonight. God bless you all. And like I said, I got to get my bundles home because Mom is off of work.
All right. Very good. Very good. Shelly, DaRonda McDuffie Quad Creations, thank you so much. And thank you to Carlos Palmer and Alunwa Ikbiazu. I love you guys and thank you for your passion. Now, the winner, I'm going to tell you who the two winners were because we had two winners for the songs. First song was House in the Title. And here are some of the titles. Our House, The House of the Rising Sun, Slip Inside This House, I've never heard of that one. Brick House, House of King, Pink Houses, Burning Down the House, A House of Gold, and A House Is Not a Home. And that one went to LaTasha. And then for the other one, name a song with the word mama in the song, that went to Carlos Palmer, and he's going to be receiving a griddle and a swag bag. So yay, kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
All right. Now I want to ask you guys this question. Should women bash men just because we can do it? Type your answers in the chat, please. Do women really want to do everything ourselves? Because we have so many girl anthem songs about women doing everything for themselves. But do we really want to? The Black church today, is it answering the call for the world today? Do you think people who speak other languages should speak English when they are servicing English customers? Oh, I want to answer that one. I've actually resorted to turning on my voice translator when I go to get my nails done because I just really want to know what they're saying. You know, I'm not going to respond, but I still want to know. So there's that. And then sexual harassment reports are now more reported than ever before. As someone who has gone through a sexual harassment case myself, being fired because I filed a sexual harassment claim, everybody that was involved in my case, by the way, I lost, and it really did happen to me, was a man. Now, I'm not man bashing, but I couldn't help but notice that everyone from the intake person at the EEOC to my lawyer who was a man, to the grievance counsel that I filed a complaint with about my lawyer was a man, even down to the judges in the court were all men. Does that have anything to do with whether or not women are, what we're saying about sexual harassment is taken seriously? And this one is a really serious question. I'll go back over these again. If a woman wears clothes that are revealing, is she asking to be sexually harassed? I know that's heavy. So I'm going to let you guys think about those things. Type them in the chat. We're going to come back to them in a minute. And as we do that, I want to hear your stories about celebrity sightings. Anybody have any celebrity sighting stories they would like to share? And again, type that in the chat. Kanye West. And do we really believe his net worth is 6.6 billion? And then 2, should Kim get half of his money in the divorce? And then, well, who should pay for stuff when they get divorced? So that one is called Gossip in Closing. So there's that. I want to thank everybody again for being here with me tonight. And, you know, if you email your addresses, you will certainly get swag bags and grab bags with some things that we have for giveaways. And to LaTasha Briscoe, don't forget you'll be receiving the lava lamp in addition. And Carlos, you will be receiving a griddle in addition. To DaRonda McDuffie's point, it is okay to ask for money. And I think I've been hearing a conversation that says a lot that women and minorities need to learn to start asking for money. We need to start knowing that it's okay to ask people to pay us for work that we're doing. But at the same time, oh, I like my eyelashes from the side view. At the same time, we got to make sure that we're people of excellence too. And we can't shortchange people. We can't do a half of a job and ask people to pay us all the money for only doing half of the job right. So that is also a movement we need to work on. And I say we, I mean everybody, whether you're a man, you're a woman, you're Black, you're white, whatever. If we want people to pay us fair money and fair wages, we have to learn to ask, but we also have to learn to be people of excellence. And that's something that I've learned to get better with over time myself. I was late for everything. And it cost me money in some instances and jobs as well too. I want to just shout out to my friend Wendy Dorsey and say thank you so much for telling me to talk about the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame. We have discovered recently that women are strangely left out of that conversation too. They're out of the 900 and something members of the Songwriters Hall of Fame, 77 are women. 977 members of the Songwriters Hall of Fame, 77 are women, and 2 are Black women. Now, I mention that because there is an event that is kicking off in Washington, D.C. on June the 25th from 5 to 9 at the National Women's Museum of Art. It is the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame, and they're going to be celebrating women songwriters. A lot of the songs were written that we love and we listen to, you didn't even know were written by women. And actually one of them, her name is Bunny Hall, we just discovered, has written with everybody, Aretha Franklin, Tina Turner, you name it, she's done it. So there's that. Okay, let's read some of the comments in the chat, and then we're going to be closing this out in a few minutes with our DJ. Lydia Jones Cole said, I don't have any current celebrity sightings, but many interactions with celebrities doing 20 years in TV at BET and local TV stations. Okay. And LaTasha Briscoe says, if he isn't worth that much, he shouldn't have lied, because that's what her people will be looking for in terms of her half. LOL. Oh my gosh, you know they're going to get that money. Believe it. Carlos Palmer said, celebrity interaction. Whoopi Goldberg. Wow, that's nice. And then on Kanye West, Lydia also said, no one. When we talked about women dressing sexy and do they deserve to be sexually harassed, Wendy said, nope. And Jen said nope. And LuDrean said no. And then we talked about the Black church. And this one came from LaTasha. The church is torn between being politically correct and our new cancel culture. Wow, that word really caught on. And the members need to do more to support the efforts that need to be in place. Now, at this time, I want to thank you all for your comments. Wow, they really came in. We've got quite a bit. Want to thank everyone for their comments. And what we're going to do in this last few minutes before we go back to our DJ to close out our show, I want to open the platform up and unmute everybody's mics. And also the chat is available. Please share what's up next for you guys and what we can help support each other with, what we can do to help each other. And let's get it going before we close out. Anybody?
Sure, I'll share. I have a pop-up event that I'm doing, the Petals and Pop-Up. For the month of March, we selected a nonprofit organization to support. And for April, we're going to be doing it strictly to support some of our small businesses in Southern Maryland. So the Petals and Pop-Up, if you go on my website, you'll find the information there, or you can just search Petals and Pop-Up on Eventbrite if you'd like to come out and support our small business owners.
Okay, anybody else? We have Wendy Anderson also who is on the line. I want to hear from her real quick. Aluma, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
No, just saying that if you can, as a small business, we have a hard time reaching everyone. It's expensive to try to reach everyone. So if you can support us by just telling your friends and family, your sorority sisters about us, that would really be great. We're confident we have great products. They will love it. Just if they can get to our Instagram or online store, we will really appreciate your effort. Thank you.
I'll just ask if everyone can follow me on social media. I also have a talk show, Let's Do It. And it is every Monday from 7:30 to 8:30. And we also like to interview entrepreneurs and have other guests as well. And thank you so much. I really enjoyed myself.
I enjoyed all of you ladies. Karla, you there? Anything you'd like to share before we wrap up?
Just like to say thank you for the opportunity. I had an amazing time, and thank you for all of the ladies and authors and everyone that shared their entrepreneurship and everything with me. Thank you so much. Please follow me at The Woman Tells on Facebook, IG, and Twitter. Thank you.
There it is. You got it in this time. Okay. Ow. We're going to talk more about your book. I love that book. Woo! You guys got to read that book. It's steamy. Okay. Am I blushing a little bit too much right now? Okay. Anyway. All right, guys. Well, here's my own disclaimer. This is my own, what is it? Yeah, my turn. I get to kind of just tell you about some of the things that I'm doing. So I want to say, I'm on the radio on Radio 1 Networks every Wednesday from 4:30 to 5 p.m. On WOLB 1010 a.m. If you have some entrepreneurs, business leaders, women, minorities, you want to share their stories, I'd love to hear from you. Tyshell was starting to help me get organized so I'm not all over the place. And yay to Tyshell and to Jen. Thank you guys. I need you so much. Yay. And then I've also partnered with the blackshoppingnetworks.com. If you are a minority or woman and you have a business and you want to help us collectively pool our money together and scale up, support our own businesses and grow our businesses, go to the Black Shopping Networks, networks.com. And actually there you will see Karla Luster. Her book is there. And I'm so sorry, Karla Luster Davis, her book is there. And oh my gosh, I just had one of those moments, sorry. But so the radio show, I'm there, the blackshoppingnetworks.com, which Carlos actually has sent some really unique designers that we're going to be featuring on the Black Shopping Networks as well. And then Women Songwriters Hall of Fame. If you know a women songwriter who would be interested in hearing more about that, Wendy Dorsey, who is actually on the call, can share more with you guys about that. And follow me on all of those platforms. But I'm going to tell y'all to go to my website first and sign up there. And then go to my itsjanicepk.com. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter at Janice on TV. And, this is also, it's a labor of love for me because I love talking to entrepreneurs and talking about business and sharing other people's stories. But I need you guys to help me too, get the word out, let people know what I'm doing, because I'm really tired of hearing from Gail, Oprah, and Wendy Williams. So I'm just saying, I'm trying to get my platform up there too. I ain't knocking them. I love them. They all Black women, but yeah, we've been listening to y'all for 20 years. It's my turn. No. All right. I thank you all for being here with me tonight. Thank you to DJ Showboy for bringing the party music. And I love y'all. Stay safe, be blessed, lift each other up, stay healthy. And I'll talk to you guys the next time. Until then, girls are talking.